Dude.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know, it was just weird, and we can't talk about it, but yeah. So I understand what it is, and you know what? I would have cried too.
Because it affected everything.
Yeah, it affected everything from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I felt it. It was really weird.
Like these young kids say now, I'm gonna give you your flowers. I just felt like, God damn, man, I'm not getting my flowers, man.
You have your flower.
Yeah,
Listen to me. Listen to me, Aries. We're the luckiest people on this planet.
we are. When you put it in perspective,
That's what you
Then
have
Take
put
a
it in
deep
perspective
breath.
and keep it in perspective. Then put it in perspective and keep it in
respe-
perspective.
You know, in AA, right? There's a term: wear a new pair of glasses. Just look at it in a certain way, right? Because you know, what I mean, what our brains are thinking isn't who we really are, right? It's the observer that's observing the thinking is who we really are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And always remember this too. Whatever you focus on increases.
well, I've been focusing a long time waiting for some shit to
Well,
increase.
you know what I'm saying? Whatever you focus on increases. So be careful and full of care what you focus on, bro.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, dude. I played the Columbus Funny Bone recently. Were you just there?
Yeah, this weekend.
Exactly. Right. That's an A room.
Yeah,
You sold good tickets.
sold out.
Fuck you then.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Bobby.
Fuck you, dog. Thank you, mama.
Right.
Wear a new pair of glasses, guy.
Yep.
Right? And don't
Listen,
stick your
man,
tongue out, man. dude.
listen.
Yeah.
I just turned 50. I just got these.
Yeah.
I wear glasses
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're all. We live better than 99.9% of people.
No
on this
no
planet.
one's disagreeing with that. But in your heart at night, when you lay your head down on that pillow, and you say to yourself, "I know I deserve more."
No, that's what you say.
That's what you said.
That's what you say.
We don't think that.
I
never think of bad.
I go in the
I
full
think,
like-
You don't think
I think Aries deserves more in my mind. You know, when I'm about to go to bed.
Well,
about your life?
I want to be the motherfucker with the mansion.
No.
Why? How many
but
rooms
Aries-
do you need?
It's just always been my dream since a kid that I want to be that dude. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart.
But you are that dude. My thing is,
in terms of talent
want-
and ability.
Right, but you
my
want-
pockets don't show that.
but you know what? Your equation, I get it. But your equation you'll never be satisfied. I'm just gonna tell you this
No,
right now.
do you-
I'm gonna be real.
Hold on.
No.
What's
your
the number?
Stop.
What's the number?
Your
What's the
equation
satisfaction
will never
number?
be satisfied. Why? Because some other motherfucker will come along that'll take and blow the world up, and you'll want to be that. And then some other motherfucker will
No,
come
but
around
no,
and have
no.
as talented as you, or possibly more, and then you're gonna get upset because again, you focus on everything that is not you.
Hold
and
up.
everything you want.
Wait a minute.
But not what's in your present space.
No, listen, I hear you, but what I'm just saying is when I go to comedy clubs, and listen, I'm not saying this is me saying this. I'm telling you what people have said to me. And they go, yo, man, you one of the GOATs. Yo, you a legend. And I go in my mind, no, stop. Eddie Murphy's a legend. Richard Pryor is a legend.
Right,
Dave
but then
Chappelle.
you stop. No,
I'm
and
not
the reason
them.
that shut you off is because if they tell you that, shut the fuck up, listen to what they're saying, and accept it.
Well, I do kind of.
You know what I'm saying?
But listen.
you always have Aries, because you always have some shit after that to say no, that's not yours. Hey,
This
but
little
instead
But what
of
I'm saying is,
I'm
it's
gonna
hard
let
for
it
me
shine.
when I hear that and they go, yo, you top 5, you up there with Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, and I'm just going,
Yeah.
if my talent is that,
Aries.
then why?
Aries.
Aries, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
If tomorrow you got that mansion and that big bag of cash, you think a switch is just gonna flip on for you, and that you'll automatically be, this is what I deserve, and I'm a happy man today. If tomorrow that happened for you.
I just got finished watching the 500th episode of Tigerbelly, and it was the Mad TV reunion. And there was so much in that episode, but I want to talk about one specific part. I think that you don't realize how good you have it until it's gone. You know, Aries talks about not getting his flowers or people saying he's one of the GOATs or one of the greats, but I feel like he gets in his own way. I think he believes that he's bigger and better than what he really is. Is he talented? Absolutely. I believe that he's talented, right? The impressions, that's dope. But when it comes down to it, are you a good person? Like 2 days ago, I went back and I watched the episode where Bobby, Lee, and Aries got back in good graces, if you will, or just had a chance to sit down. And Bobby's different. You know, I really believe that back in those days when he was on Mad TV, he was very annoying because he's annoying now. Okay, I don't know if anybody else feels it, but he's annoying now. Just now, he has bigger balls, aka more eyes and views on him, so he's able to talk down to people, but he does it passive aggressively. I learned that passive aggressively, but he does. And I feel like at a point back then, he was not funny. He was just making a bunch of loud noises and doing pranks and possibly being very just annoying. I could see it. And I could see how if you are a strong comedian and want to do comedy for a living and do it from a good place and you're great at it and you got this cheesy prankster that shits on people's fucking desks, you would probably be like, yo, get this. I'm not talking to this nigga. So I understand. But I think Aries gets in his way. So the way that he treated Bobby back in those days, Bobby remembers that. And there's a quote that says, people don't remember what you say to them. They remember how you make them feel. And that is very true. Because this is an opportunity to see it in real time. I think that when you're in it, you don't realize you're in it. That's why, you don't call legends until the time is done. The time is done, and that's when you're considered a GOAT, or that's when you're considered a legend. I think this day and age, we say that word and we throw it around loosely. Like there's a couple of comedians right now that are doing stuff that no one else is doing, and it's innovative. But you won't be able to truly get the full feel of it until 20 years down the road. Then they'll look back and say, that was iconic. That right there was influential. That right there moved the needle in comedy. Aries, you had your time. And maybe during that time, you weren't a good person. And that's why you are where you are. But still, to be able to go to a comedy club, an A-list comedy club, shout out to Bobby for saying that, and selling out, that's a lot of fucking money. For a weekend? I don't think people realize how much money that is for a fucking weekend. If you sold out all shows, that's a chunk of change. To complain about that is asinine. Maybe he wants to be a star in the... Nigga, you're ugly. Ugly ass niggas are not going to be leads in movies. Problematic people that have arrogancy, because like I met Aries here in Austin, and I realized that people had said certain things about this guy, and it was like, man, you know what? Maybe it's not the time for me to go introduce myself. Maybe because they say you meet your heroes, and he's not my hero, but you meet your celebrities that you see in a certain light. You may not feel that same way when you really meet them. So I said, what's up? How you doing? I'm a fan, and kept it pushing. Did I want to introduce myself? Did I want to talk about the show that he was having at Cap City that I would love to come and, do a feature spot? Not even a feature spot, a guest spot. Absolutely I wanted to, but I chose not to because of the so-called reputation that he has. And he's acting different now because maybe he's realized that being an asshole isn't going to work. And I'm learning that myself. I'm learning that, and I'm on a lower level of comedy than him. I realize that you can't say how you really feel because people are very sensitive, especially comedians. And you'll never know where the low person on the totem pole is going to be in a position to be able to give you the thumbs up or thumbs down. And listening to Bobby, I've been watching Bobby's podcast for a couple of weeks now, and he's an arrogant fuck. He's now just getting the confidence to say certain things to people simply because he has the platform. And I don't get this thing like when people get to a certain level, they turn into dickheads and assholes. And if you're not strong, right, you're not one of, it's not okay to do it all. But if you're not one of the top dudes, you have no reason to be a dickhead. But I think Aries has a lot of more learning to do. And eventually, you keep doing this, opportunities are going to come. They say if you stay in line, you're going to get your turn. So just stay in line. But watching the whole 500 episode, I looked at it and I was like, man, you could be on television, on top, making tons of money, and then riding around in a Fiat. You could be the worst comic or a lesser than comic, and then eventually have a podcast where millions of people watch, and now you have the reins. So be careful how you treat people. That's what I got out of this whole 500 episode, is be careful how you treat people. I never liked Mad TV like that. I wasn't a Mad TV fan. Just wasn't my thing. But I do look at it like you can learn something from these podcasts if you're really paying attention. And what I learned from this podcast specifically is that what goes up must come down. So if you guys could like, comment, share, this will help out the algorithm so much. It'll help me get to the point where I can start a real podcast. Because this is just me talking in my house on my phone. But my thoughts are valid because I want to do comedy. I am a comedian and I want to do it at a high level. I'm doing it now where I'm getting spots around town, but it's not like every weekend I'm traveling somewhere. And that's what I want to happen. So help me out. I'll holler at y'all next time.